Hey everybody, Matt Barton here with this week's Broker Minute or Two. Um, for quite some time we've talked about um, the challenges of mobile home purchases or sales, and that the real estate purchase contract is a completely wrong instrument to use because we're not dealing with real estate when we're talking about a true mobile home. It's actually personal property. The good news is we now have a mobile home purchase agreement, and it's not as insignificant as it sounds. This is really very significant, and I wanted to just go through some of the key points here. Let's start off with the first one. You'll notice this doesn't make reference to real estate of any kind. The best thing I tell people when we're thinking about this is think car, because that's the closest thing it is to when selling a mobile home. So, in working with our attorney, we wanted to make this as short as possible. Should not be as long as a real estate purchase contract, but have the key things. So, obviously, we have, you know, this is a purchase agreement. There is an effective date. These are the parties. We have the particular information for the buyers or sellers, and then particulars in regards to the mobile home itself. What year is it? What's the make? What's the model number? What's the serial number? Size, etc., etc. Right? Kind of all the particulars. And then we added a section for things that would be included. Now that is like the Rep C, and you have the ability to check additional items here, or if there's something that falls outside of the list of items, you can specify other and then write it out. And then if there's something definitely that the seller does not want included, then you're going to want to take advantage of this section. Okay, then we get to contractual terms. Purchase price becomes a contractual term. Deposit. Notice it does not say earnest money, because earnest money only goes into our real estate trust account. So we actually do not take the deposit. You'll notice here that the first line here says that the buyer has given the seller, the seller's agent, or the seller's attorney a deposit in the amount of whatever. My high recommendation is give it to the seller. We don't want to hold those funds. We don't want to have anything to do those. We don't have a trust account for those funds, so it really should be to the seller. And that does become known as the deposit. Now, you'll notice down here, the seller shall be entitled to the deposit if the buyer fails to cancel the purchase agreement before the cancellation deadline. And we do have a section there for the cancellation deadline. All right, the buyer does have an opportunity to inspect the property, but its general condition is they're buying it in its as-is condition without any representations, warranties, etc., from the seller. That is the starting point, okay? Now, this next one is a big deal because quite often the mobile home is in a mobile home park, and the park typically has an HOA or something that acts much like an HOA, and you actually have to be approved to be a tenant, approved by the board to be in their park. So this is an important portion of this contract, right? And it does state that the buyer's performance under this contract is subject and contingent to obtaining the approval, and you actually do have an approval deadline. If you go past that deadline, your deposit could be vulnerable if you don't close on the home because you weren't approved to be a tenant in the park. Okay, so buyer's cancellation deadline, super important. And if you're going to cancel, it does require written notice, just like a Rep C. Closing and possession. Sales tax. So let's say you're buying the mobile home for $100,000. In addition to that, the buyer is acknowledging that in addition to delivering the seller $100,000, just like when buying a car, you have to go down and get it registered at the DMV. You have to pay taxes on the purchase and the processing fees. Okay. Seller warranties, miscellaneous, etc. So the good news is it comes in at about 2.5 pages, which is a lot easier to navigate than a Rep C, and it's more importantly a better instrument and vehicle for this transaction. We don't do a ton, but we do enough mobile homes that I'm kind of excited to have this as part of our forms repertoire. It is actually in SkySlope forms already and ready to be used. So if you have any questions, reach out to your the local area broker, or if they're not available, I'm always available to take a call. Okay. You guys have a good one. Talk soon.